Our next two panelists represent business support organizations that promote business growth and development. They're also wonderful partners for New Jersey libraries, and SCORE in particular has been mentioned several times today. So I'm very glad that Jane is here to represent them. And we're also joined by Anthony Martinez from who is a small business advocate with the New Jersey Business Action Center. So when you have situations that are beyond the capabilities of your library, your services, your expertise, and just even for any kind of business referrals, information, SCORE and the New Jersey Business Action Center are two great organizations to know about. So Anthony and Jane, I didn't say your roles. You are the certified SCORE mentor with the SCORE Central Jersey chapter and the SCORE New Jersey District Manager of Strategic Relationships. So thank you so much, both of you, for being here. And Anthony, I'm going to start with you for giving introductions and telling us about your organization. Would you start by talking about the Business Action Center?
Sure, certainly. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anthony Martinez, and I'm a small business advocate for the New Jersey Business Action Center. The New Jersey Business Action Center has been around for a little over 30 years. We work out of the Secretary of State Department, which is where many and most states where businesses form and register their businesses is with the Secretary of State Department. Now, New Jersey is a little different. The New Jersey Business Action Center, we work with Treasury, taxation, and the Division of Revenue and Enterprise Services to assist small businesses with forming and registering their business. Now, within our department, there's 3 offices dedicated to assisting small businesses. The first one is the Office of Business Advocates. And what they do is they provide site assistance, and they also provide project management assistance. And they have a number of business advocates that assist businesses that are coming to the state or that are in the state, that want to stay in the state. They have different business advocates that work in the different industry sectors that can assist businesses, again, that want to come to the state and do business in the state, or that are existing businesses already in the state, okay? Then the second office that we have is the Office of Small Business Advocacy, which is where you'll find me. And we provide site assistance as well. We provide government assistance in that if a small business is looking to be minority small business enterprise, minority business enterprise, women business enterprise, veteran-owned business enterprise, and disabled veteran-owned business enterprise certified to do business with the state, we can assist with that process as well. Not the process, but the application process. We tell people how they can complete the applications, and we work closely with the certification auditors to get anyone who's having problems with those certifications get certified. We also assist with any licensing issues. Let's say if you need a cosmetology license or a liquor license or anything like that, we can assist businesses obtaining those licenses. We work closely with the New Jersey Division of Consumer Affairs and all our other sister state agencies that give licenses as well. We also assist with financial resources. We work closely with the New Jersey Economic Development Authority and our community development financial institutions, CDFI micro lenders throughout the state, with finding small businesses financial resources. And then lastly, we have our Office of Export Promotion, which assists small businesses with anything that anything that has to do with exporting. We want not importing, but exporting. If you're a business and you want to export your goods or services out of the state, that office can assist you with that. They have also a grant, a STEP grant. It's called the State Trade Expansion Program Grant. And that grant can be used to attend international trade shows, website translations, translating marketing materials and things of that nature. So if there's anyone that needs assistance with any of that, they can certainly contact me. We have our business.nj.gov live chat. Okay, there you'll find the BAC, the Business Action Center website. The best site there is the business.nj.gov. That's where you'll find the live chat where you can speak live to one of our representatives. You can even request to speak to me. And there's our helpline also, 1-800-JERSEY-7. You can call and speak to a representative. You can, again, request to speak with me. We have representatives that speak in Spanish. Yo hablo español. Le puedo ofrecer la asesoría en español también. So we offer assistance in Spanish as well. And the best way to communicate with me is via email. I respond to my emails on a daily basis. I'm always available. And what I wanted to say is that we're the great connector. That's what my executive director likes to say. And we connect, we run the customer service call center for all state of New Jersey departments. So if you have an issue with Treasury or taxation or labor or the Division of Revenue and Enterprise Service or any state department, we can assist with that. And you know, we have a good working relationship with all our sister state agencies. And what else? Am I missing anything? I don't think so. Yeah, so we connect you, we connect the dots. We'll connect you, and we provide available information and we provide direction as well. Most of the time we answer all the questions ourselves, you know, and if we can't, then we'll put you in touch with one of our sister state agencies, or we'll get the information for you and provide you with that information in that direction that your small business needs. Oh, we also have a good working relationship with the small business development centers. We fund them to assist small businesses forming and registering their businesses and doing business plans and things of that nature. They have different consultants with different areas of expertise that can assist small businesses. That's where I came from. I was a small business development center consultant for 20 years. I was only 2 when I started. And that's pretty much it for me. If anyone has any questions, I'll be around.
Great, thank you so much. And Steve put these links into the chat as well. So if you weren't able to write them down, or you know, you want access to them. And Anthony, so you, if I remember correctly, you have direct access to other departments, correct, through your chat. And
that is
so
correct.
It's not just, oh, go contact taxation. You can actually get
no. Through the chat, I can directly, only myself and Don, the supervisors. That's why if you're, and we have to determine if your, you know, issues that, you know, important that you need that, you know, then we can transfer you to taxation. We can transfer you to labor, you know, employer accounts, or we can even transfer you to EDA. EDA recently got on our chat as well, the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. So yes, we have direct links to those through the chat. We can transfer you to those departments. We connect the dots.
Yes, I think everyone here can appreciate how hard it can be to link to other government agencies. So the fact that you could do that is such a great customer service experience for the person asking the questions.
I understand firsthand how difficult it is to get through. Many times when I get a phone call, I'll just tell them, you know, send me a chat and request to speak to me, and then I'll transfer them directly. You know, especially when I see they're having difficulty and they're not, you know, we all get frustrated.
Right, so thank you. And now, Jane, if you would share with us about SCORE, and then I have a few questions to ask both of you. And if you have questions that you want to start putting in the chat, you can do that, and then we'll be able to get to them when we have a break, or you know, when Jane's presentation is complete.
Great. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for inviting me here today. We love libraries, so I'm happy to share information about SCORE. And I was so happy to hear the previous speakers to hear how they're utilizing SCORE. That was really a great example of partnering and utilizing the resources in your own communities. So good for all those people. I presume most of you have heard about SCORE, but I'll give you the propaganda speech here, and maybe you can learn a little bit more, and we can work together even more than we do. We've been around for a very long time. Most people don't realize that. And we're a partner with the Small Business Administration. We're funded through Congress, and those funds then flow through the SBA. So we have the same mission as SBA does. We're just here to help small businesses get going, grow, develop, prosper, but we're kind of the volunteer organization relevant to SBA. Everybody in our chapters in our organization is a volunteer. None of us get paid except the folks at the national office. We do it because we love it. And we help a lot of people. We've helped grow about 11 million people over the 58 years we've been around. We're a large organization. We have 14,000 volunteers across the US and about 240 chapters. So what does that mean for our clients and for libraries who might be referring people is that those 14,000 volunteers have a wide range of expertise. So in like my little chapter in New Jersey, we have 36 volunteers and we have a nice skill set in our chapter, but we don't have everything. So if we are working with a client who needs a particular expertise, we can reach out across the US and find somebody in California or Texas or Nevada or wherever who has expertise, and we can partner with them. So we do that a lot, and the expertise across the entire organization is very wide and very deep. We serve communities and lots of clients, and have helped start, over 45,000 businesses. So we believe we do make a real impact in the community and with clients. The way to access us through our national site is www.score.org. That site has pretty much anything there that you would need, and our local chapters have their own sites as well. We serve anybody who wants to start a for-profit or a nonprofit business, and we do it at any level. So if someone is just thinking about a business and doesn't know if it might be viable or not, kind of, kicking the tires, so to speak, we can help you with that. We can talk, we can walk you through that process, thinking through, should I do this or not? Maybe a lot of people have already decided what business they want to be in, but they don't have any idea how to get started. We love working with BAC on these things too, because BAC is such a great resource for this. But if you want to start a business, start a business. A lot of our expertise is around helping people create their business plans and how to get started and how to go forward. If people are in business and maybe run into a problem, we had this a lot during COVID. How do I pivot? What do I do? How do I manage my finances? We can work with businesses as well, and have experts in lots of subject area matters to help manage issues and obstacles that are coming up. And then for people who are ready to sell their businesses or ready to just close out and move on to something else, we can help with that as well. So for any age, any stage of a business, we're there. In New Jersey, we have 7 chapters, so we cover the state pretty thoroughly. A lot of volunteers. These are the chapters and the counties that each one of them serves. Prior to COVID, we were a little more location-based, but with COVID, everything has changed. Now, all of us are doing virtual mentoring and virtual workshops and all of that. So we're a little more fluid than we were before. But if you haven't worked with a SCORE chapter, SCORE people in your area, these are the chapters. These would be where to go to find the people to work with. I'm also available. So if you haven't worked, or if you want to work with a SCORE chapter in your area and you want a connection to that chapter, I can do that for you. Just email me and I will make an introduction with our chapter chair. and get you going on that. So I can be the resource for that. How do we help small businesses? We have 3 main services. The first, I think, is the most important, and that is mentoring. And that's free for anybody who wants to start a business. So all someone needs to do is go to the chapter website or to score.org and find a mentor. And it's very simple. You find a mentor, you can go by, if you are looking for someone that has a very specific skill, you can search for that, or just by zip code. Most people just put their zip codes in, and then that request would go to the chapter that's closest to you, location-wise. And then someone from the chapter would contact that person and set up a counseling session. We mentor one-on-one, and then bring in co-mentors as we need. So someone who's in business and has worked with us may have 2 or 3, 4 different mentors as they go through the process of their business. We like to stay with clients over time, as opposed to one and done. Now, someone may have one question and somebody could answer that specific question, and then that could be it. That's fine too. But we're more than happy to stay with the client for as long as they want us to. I have clients that have been with me 2 and 3 years. We don't talk every week or every month, but when they need me, they just give me a shout out. We have a conversation, and then they move on. So it's a very relationship building, relational aspect to the business. We do business workshops. Pre-COVID, we were doing those in person, and that's where we had a real strong relationship with our local libraries, because we did a lot of business workshops in libraries across the area, and they were great for that. Then COVID happened, of course, and we switched everything over to Zoom webinars, and we're kind of continuing with the Zoom webinars. We have business workshops on all kinds of topics, probably anything anybody would need to know about. There's a workshop on it, and people can register at their local chapter, or we have national webinars also through score.org. And then resources. Lots of the previous speakers were talking about the resources, business plan templates, and all kinds of things that you can find. Those are all free resources that people can download and just use at their own will. Anything from how do I get started to how do I close out my business? Those are all free. Our workshops are generally free. Our chapter does all the workshops for free. Some chapters charge a nominal amount, like $5 or $10, but it is very minimal. And then the resources, just some examples of resources that are available at score.org. There are just thousands of them. So probably any topic, any question you have, there's some kind of a resource for that topic. Search and send people there. It's great. This is just an example of that, our score.org website. Find a mentor, take a workshop, or just browse the library and find the resources that you need. Just as an example of some of the local webinars, because the national office does webinars as well, but our chapter webinars, we have a few coming up. September 21, franchises. Everything you might want to know about a franchise. Is that a good idea for me? What do I need to do to get a franchise? We have an expert coming in talking about that. On the 28th, we are talking about marketing. Everybody wants to talk about marketing. So we're doing that, how to get started with your marketing. The October ones are very much focused on our libraries, which we love. On the 12th, we're having Bill Carlson from Reference Solutions Database speak to us again about using research for business success. And again, we're referring people to the libraries to get that database. I am sorry about that truck. But again, we work with reference solutions and refer people to that database. And then we're really excited to have Andrea speak with us on October 13th, talking about all the great resources that libraries have for business growth. And that's a statewide webinar. So we have chapter webinars, local webinars, national ones, statewide. I don't know why everybody in the world decided to come by my house this morning. Sorry. Just a couple of examples of how we work with clients. We have a client who's a counselor. She's been a counselor at the state level for many, many years and had decided to retire. And this is kind of a typical of a client who knows what they want to do, but just is kind of overwhelmed about how do I even get started? How do I transition now from my permanent job to starting my own little counseling? So we worked with her, helped her create her brand identity. How is she going to describe her business? Who's her target audience? How is she going to price? All of those things that you would think about in a business plan. And then she took all of that information and is working now on building her website. But she's scheduled to open her practice now at the end of September. An example of someone who has been in business for quite a while and was having a problem. He had problem employees that he just didn't know how to handle. And he had such a fear of someone quitting or firing somebody, and that if he let somebody go, his whole business would fall apart. So we worked with him again to understand how to talk to his employees and how to educate and support his employees to become better employees, and to get a pipeline of new people going in case somebody left. And so finally his employee did leave the company. He was replaced, and now he has a whole pipeline of people who are ready to step in, because that moving business is very transitory. But it took away the fear of him not being able to work properly with his employees, because if one person left, everything would fall apart. And that's no longer a fear, and his business now is growing. And we work with him on a monthly basis, just because again, the way a lot of times we work with our clients is that they use us for accountability. So if we meet with the client once every month, once every 6 weeks or so, they kind of check in, and it gives them an opportunity to think, oh, I've got to talk with my SCORE mentor on Tuesday. Let me think back. Did I do things that I should have done, that I committed to? Where am I? And it gives them kind of a goal and an accountability. And then we had another gym owner during COVID who had planned to sell her gym, and then COVID hit and needed help walking through that whole process. We were able to work with her and help her maintain her revenue, not at what it was, but sustain revenues so that her business did stay profitable during that time. And we're able to help her find a business broker, and she actually sold her business during COVID and has moved on. So that was a great. So we love our clients. We've had a client that was on Shark Tank. So that was really a lot of fun to watch him grow. And, really when he went on Shark Tank, he needed some help to really focus what he was going to talk about. And he did get $500,000 in a partnership on Shark Tank. And then someone else who just were placing their products in Walmart with a new product they had developed. So we love our success stories, and we love our partnerships. We partner with anybody who's in the same space trying to help small businesses get started and grow. And libraries, certainly the state library with Andrea, we do a lot with her. We appreciate her partnership. And then our local libraries, the Business Action Center, SBA, SBDCs, and all of the other certainly New Jersey organizations that do and support small businesses. We love those relationships. My contact information is here. I would be more than happy to answer any questions, to help you with anything you have with SCORE, and brainstorm if there's something going on at your library that you'd like to further. And so that's SCORE in a nutshell.
Great. Thank you so much, Jane. And I had put your email address in the chat.
Right.
So scroll up a little bit. Anthony has also been putting some great information into the chat. So you can go there to see what he's putting in. And at this time, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in. And I have a couple prepared questions for Jane and Anthony to get our conversation started. So you mentioned, Jane, partnering with libraries, but I'm wondering if you have any examples, both of you, you and Anthony, examples of successfully working with libraries in the past and what made those partnerships successful.
Well, as you know, Andrea, you and I, we've known each other for a number of years, and every time I do an event, whatever organization I'm with, you know, I always invite you to the table. And I just think that the libraries are a great resource that small businesses don't know about, because you all provide technical assistance and capacity building to for-profits and nonprofits, and that's what they need. I think the marketing assistance that you all provide, the business reference librarians, is invaluable. And a lot of people, they don't know about this on the state level and on the county level. And you know, I wish that I knew many years ago what you all did, you know. Yeah, that's been my experience. And again, I always invite you all to the table because you're a great resource and a great resource partner.
We all of our chapters use libraries, well, pre-COVID, particularly because libraries hosted a lot of the workshops, the business workshops that we did. So we partnered directly with them. I know our chapter partnered with Metuchen and Piscataway and North Edison, Old Bridge, all over the place. So that was always great. We did in-person mentoring at libraries because our chapter particularly is large, our territory is large. So we try to find locations that have some level of privacy to meet with our clients in person that's conducive both to the mentor and the client. So I mentor at libraries oftentimes. And am I frozen? No, okay. So mentoring workshops and then the business aspects, like Anthony said, we refer people to the libraries for research, particularly, especially if we love to have the name of the business librarian, and we've lost some of that contact over COVID. But if we can refer a client to a specific business librarian in their area that can help them with their research on location, competition, customers, and all of that, we love to have those relationships.
And
oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I was going to say we have a question in the chat, and I think that you're both referring to the statewide database reference solutions as one of those valuable things that libraries provide. And this question, I think, you know, it's about that a little bit, but then the additional things that libraries offer. So what could libraries do to better market our services to business owners? And if you've seen anything that's out of the box or innovative, then share that, but also how to talk up what libraries are offering.
I think that the libraries could be, I don't know, pardon my ignorance, be on many the organizations such as ours that have a link to the libraries on our websites that direct, as a resource, the county, the city, the municipalities. I know there's a lot, 21 counties, 564 municipalities, it's a lot. But be on those, perhaps be on, I don't know, do you all have a newsletter? Does the state library have a newsletter? Do the county libraries have newsletters?
Do you mean that they push out their own information?
Do the marketing, more marketing? And
Yeah.
okay. And
Yeah, many
ask
libraries
also-
have e-newsletters.
Yeah, and also ask that, pardon my ignorance, and also ask that, our resource partners, all of us, that we include you all, your link, a link to your site on our website so that, we all get the news out there.
Yeah, SCORE, some of the things that the earlier speakers talk about, I totally concur with. I think the Stacy in particular talked about those local resources, getting out to your chamber, your local chambers and organizations that reach out into the business community. I know from SCORE standpoint, again, our individual chapters do webinars. We would be more than happy to have a local library talk to our clients about the resources at the library. Andrea is, of course, doing a statewide one, which is great. But our chapters also have monthly chapter meetings, and we would welcome someone come in and talk at our chapters to our mentors. So we like to educate our mentors about the resources that are available so they then in turn can educate their clients. So those resources from SCORE would be available to you, to anyone who wants to take advantage of that. I think it's all about kind of beating the pavement and getting out and talking to local organizations and partnering with local organizations.
And I ask that you, send me information of any events, things like that. We can certainly push it out on our social media platform.
Right.
Yes, that would be great.
Mhm.
And for anyone who's in Burlington County, who, Anthony shared that event that's coming up next week. If you would like to attend, Lee and I from the state library, we're going to have a table at that event, but there's always room for more. So if you're from Burlington County or you're local to that area and you want to stop by, it is a great opportunity. Particularly look for these New Jersey Economic Development Authority and Business Action Center events, because not only can you meet business owners who come to get the information, but it's also a great way to get connected to other organizations that are there. So Anthony, can you explain some of the other organizations that'll be exhibiting?
Certainly. Our theme is always my theme, having come from the SBDC world, all businesses, they need site assistance, they need government assistance, they need financial resources. And from my many years working with these small business development centers, I know what small businesses need. They need technical assistance and capacity building, and they need capital. So hence, that's why I always bring that whenever I do these events, I always bring, our sister state agencies that can assist people, the small businesses and individuals, bring that technical assistance, capacity building. Okay, so now you need the help. Now what do you need? In addition to forming and registering my business properly and doing my business plan, well, what do you need after that? You need money. So we bring the CDFI micro lenders and EDA, the state lender as well. So that's the whole, that's the theme that I always drive home. Because again, coming from that world, I've worked on both sides of the track, with the SBDC and with the state lender. So that in my experience is what most small businesses need. They need the help and they need money.
And getting on social media, I think too, I belong to a couple of local town groups, but I never see anything about the library on those groups. So any of your local county or even more importantly, town websites that you can get on or social media sites that you can get on to just share what's going on at the library beyond storytelling time.
Mhm. And a lot of folks too don't know that the SBDCs, they can assist folks with e-commerce and creating a website.
Right.
One good thing, and I don't know, we'll probably touch on it, but one good thing that came out of the whole pandemic was technology. COVID was bad, but the technology component of it all has became more tech savvy during COVID, which was a great thing, and businesses as well.
Yeah. But at the same time, those business owners or entrepreneurs who are less tech savvy are left behind. And so that's another good spot is for libraries already offering digital literacy services to consider business owners as part of the recipients of some of that information.
Right. That's a good thing. Also while we're here, let me mention the COVID-19 Business Information Hub. It talks about workplace requirements, and it also talks about financial assistance programs for businesses that have been affected by COVID. So people need to check that out.
Great. And another organization, Joan DeVore. I just have to say, Joan, good to see your name. Good to hear from you.
Hi, Joan.
Pointing out UC. Oh,
my old buddy from the Burlington County Library System, nonprofit center.
Joan, you have such a good reputation still. UCEDC is another organization, and they work statewide, providing entrepreneurship education and services. And they do put announcements out. They have, speaking of Gwinnett County with doing outreach to individuals returning from incarceration, they have a program for entrepreneurs as well. So if you have a population or you come across somebody and they're looking for this type of program, but you're not offering one or you don't know of one locally, definitely check out UCEDC. So we kind of touched on this a little bit. Now I want to dig a little bit more for your experiences with business owners and what it is that they need. So we had COVID-19 really changing the landscape. Businesses closed, businesses opened. But what are you seeing as the biggest needs among business owners currently?
Money. Money. That's what it is. Right. They need money to stay afloat. They needed money, and what they were receiving, what EDA was putting out, was, it was, some folks got $1,000, some folks got $10,000, the phase 1, 2, 3, and 4 grants, and then the small business improvement note, the loans and things of that nature. Oh, EDA is coming out with a micro business loan October 6th. It's a $50K loan. It's, let's see, no personal guarantees, 2% interest rate, and it has a forgivable component. It's forgivable after 5 years. It's a 10-year term loan, but it's forgivable after 5 years if they stay on top of the loan, paying their loans.
Yeah, and along that same line, I would concur. How do I get started? I don't have any money. Where do I go? How do I get started? But to take a step back from that is help with focusing their business, because we get so many people who want to start a business, but they really haven't thought about what that business is. What is it? How do you define it? Where are you going to locate? Who is your customer?
Mm-hmm.
And because they'll say everybody, of course. You can't market to everybody. Who's your client and who's your competition? And how are you unique in the marketplace? How are you going to market yourself? And those, kind of key questions, helping people focus is what we do a lot of. And we find even people who have kind of a solid idea about what they want their business to be, still haven't kind of delved deeply into that. And that's, of course, a business plan, but just thinking about your business and pulling the business together. Because if you don't have those things thought through, you can't even you can't apply for a grant, you can't apply for a loan, you can't do anything until you've clarified all of your business.
and two, what a lot of people need to know too, that a grant is not going to, you have to have some skin in the game. A lender or even a grant, there are no grants that are going to fund your business.
Right.
You know, you have to infuse some capital of your own money. You have to absorb some of the risk. You have to have some of your own money, or what a lot of lenders like to say, you have to have some skin in the game. You can't
That's
think,
right.
oh, I have a great idea and oh, I'm going to get all these grants to fund my business. You know, well, if that were true, we'd all be in business.
Right. I think also people, the things that we find people are looking for is marketing. How do I market my business? You know, and then we're talking about websites, social media, all of those things. They need help with that. They need help with finances. How do I manage? How do I organize my finances? How do I project my finances? All of that, everything around financing, and then resources too. We always say, you know, my colleague always said, you know, you need the three wise men, or I would say the three wise women, but in a business, and that is an attorney, a CPA, and an insurance specialist. And talking about those specialties for your business and where you can find those local resources. Everybody's afraid of that because they think it's going to cost them thousands and thousands of dollars. But a lot of times we counsel people on where can you find somebody and how can you maximize the use of them and minimize the costs.
Outside professional resources, they're important. Attorneys, banks, and insurance.
Yep.
Yeah, and in terms of the marketing, I think sometimes we don't understand the full power of a product like Reference Solutions and how somebody can use that to either explore where other businesses are. So that, as you know, or some of the people attending this would know, the Reference Solutions has a way of business search, so you can find out who is doing what, and if there's competitors or gaps in service, then that is, or if the business is doing business to business kind of marketing, they can get lists from that. There's also the demographic and consumer lifestyle search. So if you're looking for more consumer-based information and find out, they have heat maps, and you can find out where there might be a target market that you have missed and get mailing lists, or be able to, you know, get addresses so you can start sending things out. So this is information that some of the larger companies, they just pay for. And while there may be some issue, you know, Reference Solutions does have some limits on the number of downloads at a time, but still for somebody who can't afford to purchase a list or is doing that initial research, learning how to use a resource like Reference Solutions can really be eye-opening and give them very important information. So going back to that conversation about how can we promote our resources, just being aware of how some of these things that are offered statewide or in your own library can be used by business owners is a great step as well.
And that's where we really love partnering with the libraries, because we know Reference Solutions, and I know it a bit, but I'm no expert in it at all. And if we can have a librarian that can really, you know, take that client through that database and help them, it's a bit intimidating, especially to someone who isn't used to using large databases and so forth. So the librarians are wonderful for that.
Yeah, and Anthony?
My question was, now the Reference Solutions, does that assist businesses during the different stages of their business, business life cycle? You know, the business that's, you know, maybe starting, or the business, you know, that's in the middle, you know.
I think so. So definitely with doing the preliminary research to see where are existing businesses, and finding out where there might be places where there's a market that hasn't been reached. in that preliminary research in both the business and the consumer searches. And then I've seen it, but I wish Bill Carlson was here. Bill Carlson is
Yeah.
our rep, and he is so good at pointing out myriad ways that you can use it. But if somebody is looking to approach different businesses and they want to see who's along a route or in a geographic search, it's so easy to pull out that information and do that kind of an analysis. The business profiles talk about projected expenses in certain areas to get a sense of which businesses might be a good client or not, or how your business is operating by comparison. So, and I see in the chat, Danielle and Nancy are pointing out, Nancy, great for those looking to expand by finding a new customer base or looking at their competitors. And Danielle, it does not give a guided pathway, but definitely provides that service. So, you know, it's a powerful database, and Jane, as you point out, it's knowing how to use it to get that information.
Right, right.
And that's where the county business reference librarians come in, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And
I love
Jane,
them.
the attendees here are going to be part of, you know, what I share is seeing who's represented here and who reaches out and who connects and says that they are interested in these topics, because, you know, I agree that, you know, you want to talk to a person, you want to be directed to somebody who is knowledgeable. So anytime that there are librarians or library staff that can be put in touch with SCORE or the Business Action Center when these things come up, it is so beneficial. So if you want to connect to Jane, or you want her to be aware of what you're doing in your library, you can reach out to me and I'll connect you, or Jane has shared her email address, and make
Right.
sure that you reach out.
Yeah, and that goes back to what you said too about, you know, not every business person or business being so tech savvy, you know, Erin comes to the library.
Mhm.
Right.
So another question and a reminder, please put your questions in the chat. You know, we talked a lot today about how entrepreneurship changes lives, and especially individuals from underrepresented groups. And I was wondering if you could point out some ways that your organizations might have specific programs or ways that you are trying to encourage entrepreneurship and business development from disadvantaged communities or underrepresented groups.
Well, that is pretty much our target market is small businesses, minority women, veteran-owned businesses. That's pretty much is, you know, businesses and individuals that are underrepresented, and that's who we target. You know, I've been doing this for years, with pretty much every organization that I've worked for and with, that's who we've been serving. You know, and you were talking about how does entrepreneurship help them? It empowers them, you know, and you know, a lot of times, you know, people, you know, they don't have the education, or they don't have the knowledge and the wherewithal, and it's up to us to help them, you know, when they come to us for help. You know, we help them and point them in the right direction, and help them avoid those mistakes and pitfalls of going into business.
On our score.org, our national website, there are resources specific to women-owned, Black entrepreneurs, Hispanic entrepreneurs, veterans, young, rural, all of those different groups. There are resources specific to those groups. So you can go to score.org, search for that in the library, and come up with lots of print and other resources. At the chapter level, actually at the state level, we're partnering with the Neighborhood Preservation Program, the state Neighborhood Preservation Program, in individual communities around the state, and providing mentors for those businesses that are already in business. And there's a group of those that are Hispanic-owned businesses, and we're providing Spanish-speaking mentors to those businesses. So I think all of our chapters, two things: we would love to have more volunteers. So if you know of people in business who would like to volunteer, And if you know Spanish-speaking business people who would like to volunteer, we would welcome that. We also like to provide Spanish-speaking mentors whenever we can to that particular group. So we're working very hard to match our volunteers with the populations that we serve in our local areas.
And then, another thing I'd like to add is to target those areas. We have a good working relationship with the statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the African American Chamber of Commerce, the Asian Indian Chamber of Commerce, the Chinese American Chamber of Commerce, New Jersey Pride, the LGBT Chamber, the Veterans Chamber. We have a good working relationship with the Women's Center for Entrepreneurship out of Corporation out of Chatham, and a good relationship with LADA. I served on the board for LADA many years ago when I worked for Rutgers in Camden. Yeah, pretty much all around the state with the municipalities and the counties, with the economic development reps, and the small business development centers again. So we've been fighting a good fight for a long time, and we continue to.
Great, thank you. So I think we've addressed everything that I have in my prepared questions. So once more, I'll put out the call that if you have any questions, you can ask them here. But I'm wondering if you have one piece of advice. So if somebody here would like your thoughts on the thing that they should do when they go back to work, or one thing to focus on as they develop their programs or their outreach to the business community. What's that one thing you'd like to leave them with? So Anthony, I'll start with you.
Okay, so you're talking in terms of starting a business?
Just anyone so the library staff who's listening, what's your advice to them for reaching the business community or starting a program or service for them?
Okay, so I think we need to listen. We need to listen and hear folks out and flesh out their ideas, listen to them and see what it is they're trying to do. I always ask, what is your business question? What are you trying to accomplish? And then I provide, information and direction. And I'll say, okay, well, maybe you're just not there yet. You need to flesh this out or give this some more thought. Go to SCORE or the SBDC so that they can help you with that. But I do that a lot of times myself. I put on my SBDC consultant hat, and when I speak with folks, and I pretty much point them in that direction. Sometimes, I might point them in the direction of an entrepreneurial development training program if I think that they're not ready to go to SCORE or the SBDC. I may tell them, perhaps you need to go to LADA. LADA has a 9-week training program. The Hispanic Chamber has an entrepreneurial development training program. UC-EDC has training. So there's training out there. There's a lot of free and low-cost training, which is what they need and want. If you don't know, you need to ask someone, and it's up to us to know and point them in the right direction, provide that information and that direction.
Yeah, from the library's perspective, I would say have 1 or 2 people at your library who are kind of business specialists. You don't have to be a specialist in everything, but understand the needs of small businesses and are prepared to work with small businesses, know what resources are available, know the databases, all of that kind of thing, and then publicize that. We have a business librarian. He or she works with small businesses, even flyers, your social media site. Let people know that you have those resources right there in-house they can go to maybe to get started and then go further from there.
And we did have a question come through, and this is actually something I thought of earlier. So Danielle, thank you for bringing this up. She points out that the word entrepreneurship has garnered a negative reputation due to MLM, so multi-level marketing business model. It has been exploited by these companies recruiting new team members. And I think that there has been some concern with libraries that want to offer a pop-up shop that they're not getting MLMs coming in trying to sell things or recruit people for their downline. So how do we not sound like a sales pitch by offering a false hope to small business owners?
Well, that's where I think that, you guys then need to direct folks to SCORE or to the Small Business Development Center. I don't think that's what you all do. And I certainly wouldn't refer folks to the library, someone looking to start a business to the library, not that you all can provide technical assistance to capacity building, but I guess it's my SBDC hat, and coming from that world, that I would think, SCORE or the SBD SCORE has the mentors, that can get you there. They can assist also, and getting you to the SBDC that can help you start your business. Not everybody, I think Jane said it earlier, a lot of times people have good ideas, but they need to flesh it out. They need a business plan, and that's where, Jane or the SBDC can come into play to assist with that. I'm not too familiar with that whole MLM,
Yeah, I'm not either. But it's a resource. Libraries are a resource. You're not selling a product. So number one, it's free.
Right, exactly.
Number two, they're resources.
And if I were,
Not
see, a lot of
product.
people, a lot of folks, what it is too, they don't know, and I don't want to badmouth. There's organizations out there, and you have to remember too, when you go to a lawyer or an accountant, they're entrepreneurs. They're not going to tell you, go to SCORE or go to the SBDC where you can get free and low cost help. They're going to, they're going to take your money because they're entrepreneurs, So a lot of people, they need to know where they can get free and low cost help. And that's where we all come into play.
Right.
So give them that information and point them in the right direction.
Thank you. And there's also some information in the chat as well from some other librarians and library staff members who have some ideas for dealing with those issues.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, I would say be wary of anybody that's charging you for anything.
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
On the chat, we get, I can't tell you how many calls and chats we get, folks asking, is this legal? Because you know what a lot of companies do? They put that they're from the state, New Jersey this or New Jersey that, and sometimes, Don or myself, we know right away it's a scam, or we'll look them up. And then it's like, no, don't send them your money or give them your money, The state doesn't do that.
Yes.
They need to be wary of who they're, be wary of folks asking you for your money.
Yes. And being able to refer people to reputable, known resources is a great service that libraries can provide.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Jane and Anthony, for being here today and all of the information that you shared. I'll make sure that goes out to everyone as well with the recordings, and that's posted on the website. And everyone keep looking at the chat for some additional thoughts on this topic and how to connect with business owners. So thank you again, Jane and Anthony.
Thank you for inviting me. It was great.
Thank you for inviting the back. And again, don't forget the Resources for Growth event. And that's on the 21st. And on the 21st, the 23rd, there's the Governor's Hispanic Resource Fair up in New Brunswick at the DCF training facility. And happy Hispanic Heritage Month to everyone.
Yes, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So we're getting to the end of our day. And before we move on, I just want to note that the link for the evaluation form is going to be shared in the chat, and it will also be available after. Your responses help to plan future events, and it also provides information that the New Jersey State Library provides to the Institute of Museum and Library Services, which is one of the reporting entities that we have. So as our summit ends today, I hope you're feeling inspired and energized by everything our speakers have shared. But maybe you're also feeling a little bit overwhelmed, or you're not quite sure where to start, or when you're going to find the time to implement something. And that is completely okay. Let me put up my slides real quick. So today is really not about an end result. Today is about a journey to getting somewhere new or beyond where you already are. So to that end, I'd like to introduce you to NJLIBSGROWBIZ, a group that can support your work with business owners and entrepreneurs, both now and in the future. NJLIBSGROWBIZ is a way for library staff members to connect with one another and to learn with a focus on economic development activities. Currently, it involves regular meetings and a mailing list for staying up to date on news and opportunities. To join the mailing list for NJLIBSGROWBIZ, you can go to the New Jersey State Library's website and the NJLIBSGROWBIZ page and fill out this form. In addition, we have upcoming events. These meetings are scheduled approximately monthly through, they're scheduled monthly through the end of the year and should be ongoing monthly next year. And you're welcome to attend when you can for any of the topics that are of interest. There will be a mix of meeting types, including educational webinars featuring experts who will talk about important resources and information. And then during virtual discussions, you will be able to share with colleagues and learn from each other during an open conversation format. These events will all be virtual for now, but I'm hoping that we can schedule some in-person meetings this spring. The upcoming meeting dates and links to register are also found on the NJLIBSGROWBIZ page. So you can see what those are here. And it's as though I planned this, but we're talking about some of the same topics over and over again. And those are ones that we're going to be exploring, particularly in our virtual discussions. So how to grow partnerships, what are the business groups, who should you be connecting with? And then we have these statewide databases, we have these resources in our libraries. So how can we make better use of them and promote them and learn to talk about them with our business community? So I hope to see you at the events or signed up for the mailing list. And please let me know if you have any questions or concerns or comments at all. My contact information is here. So with our remaining time, I'd like to open up to conversation. And if there's anything you want to share, you can do that in the chat. I don't know if we can do raise hand and unmute people, but we can try to do that as well. But if there's any one thing you want to share about your lessons learned, things you want to try, something that stuck with you, or maybe something that you were hoping would be covered today but wasn't, I'd love to hear that. Any questions, any lingering thoughts that you have. And then just thank you again for being here today and participating in this event. And I hope to see you again in the future. So let me stop my share. And I do want to point out again the chat about making sure to represent what the library can do appropriately and not getting confused with something that might not be reputable. So Ashley, I love that you pointed out about making sure to have the presenter and the associated organization promoted on the, with your information so that it's very clear where the information is coming from. Joan points out vetting the presenters and having policies against presenters turning a program into a selling opportunity, which I think could be a risk if you're concerned about, bringing in somebody to talk about how to build your library's website, but they run a company where they're you're having a program about how to build a business website and somebody's business is to make websites, to prevent that from becoming a sales pitch for them. But there are ways to vet and talk to the presenters to make sure that, it is just informational and it is not selling a specific service. So thank you again to everyone who is here today. And I hope you have a great rest of the day and a great rest of the week. So thank you.